So Amber, what's a public matter for this week?
All right, so we have a few topics. We have reverse ATMs.
I don't even know what those are.
Yeah, trust me. I'm even going to enlighten you with new wordage.
You put money in them?
Yes. I'm going to go over all of it, which is hilarious and insanity, and this is to help the unbanked.
The unbanked?
Yes, and the underbanked.
And the underbanked?
Yeah, because you know those people exist. They're called...
Never heard of them.
I know.
Are they called poor?
No, they're called chronically unbanked.
Are these people that just hold their money?
Sure, or they're immigrants, illegal, and they can't put their money in a bank because you know that it's really hard to get an ID. Anyways.
It is hard to get an ID.
It really is. So then we also have China paying $17 million into our school system since 2009.
Who are they paying?
This is a new...
How do they pay into the school system?
So they have an institute that, it's called the Little Red School.
That sounds communist.
Exactly. And so basically they help fund different programs in schools in 34 different states. So we'll go over that. And then we have the South African farmers that are getting killed.
Yes.
Which happen to be white South African farmers that are being killed. So it's basically the opposite of how we think of things. And that will be the three main topics that we go over today.
Because I am the racist of the two of us,
That's true.
I guess I'll be talking about the South African issue. All right, because I don't know anything about this reverse ATM stuff. So let's fill me in and fill our listeners in.
Okay,
Viewers.
so we are supposed to be going to a cashless society.
Great.
So essentially, when you're cashless, you would need debit cards or credit cards to use things. So in 2020, New York became one of the first I don't know where in New York, I can't remember. I think it was actually almost all New York restaurants were being passed that you had to use digital currency. So you had to use a debit card, a credit card, and you could not use cash because
I have kind of heard of this.
So that's because of COVID and money is dirty, and so you could get, that's how it could be transmitted, along with the mask and along with all the other things. So with that, they started reverse ATMs.
I didn't know this.
Excuse me, reverse ATMs work like this. You put your money in. Now, you would think it would go into your bank and whatever, but it doesn't. It goes into their ATM. They give you a $5 credit card, so it costs $5.
It issues you a card.
Yes. So, but here's the kicker, which is hilarious. To use the card, it costs you $3.95.
Each time?
Each month. Now, they're only good for, I believe, either 60 or 90 days.
So do you put cash into this machine?
Yeah, you get out a little prepaid debit card.
So you still got to use cash?
Only to go into the machine.
Yeah.
So they put machines out of grocery stores.
This is so you can use your card in these cashless businesses.
Right.
So this is, okay.
So like Fenway Park in Boston has one, and a few other stadiums, because they're going cashless. They feel that it's a safer space to do that, to be cashless. So it's
safer.
It's safer.
So it's always for you.
Of course. You become a risk when you carry cash. So if you become a risk and you're endangered by the criminals, they've eliminated that for you. So you just put your cash, I know, into the ATM.
Yeah, they take your rights and tell you it's good for you.
Exactly. So here's the kicker, though.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, aside from the fact that the card becomes worthless in about either 60 or 90 days.
So it expires whether you use it or not?
Right. And
where's that money go?
I don't know. I guess just wherever they decide it goes.
Wow.
It vanishes because it's not actual cash. This just tells you even more that it's fake. Okay? So here's the other thing about it is that, so you have this debit card.
Yep.
Now, say your purchase is $10, and you only have $8 left. Now, these debit cards supposedly don't exactly work with other ones, so you can't combine to pay for your thing. So you have to find an item that fits the exact price that's left on your card or you just don't get to use it.
Or you deposit more money.
No, they're not reloadable.
Oh, you can't add more money to it. So whatever it is,
that's
so
it.
it has a small. Okay,
Yeah.
so you've got to find that exact amount.
So if you're going to, we'll say a baseball game, you better know exactly what you're spending your money on, because and the charges. So you've got $3.95 plus $5.
Yeah.
So we've got about $9 that's already taken away. Now, if you've ever been to a baseball game, their beers are expensive, their hot dogs are expensive.
Yeah, who knows what you want to spend money on, right?
Well, that's the thing, though. They could say, oh, those debit cards aren't used here. You have to use this one.
Wow, I have not even heard of this.
Okay, so here's the other part of it. So the reason they're also doing these in different stores and different places is for the chronically unbanked, or the chronically underbanked.
And you say these aren't poor people.
No, they're just chronically...
People that don't go to the bank much and don't use a bank much.
They're people that don't know how to get an ID. Or we could just consider them illegal immigrants who cannot get an ID.
So yeah, they're trying to like whitewash it by saying it's people because it's so difficult to get an ID.
Exactly. Well, it's difficult to get an ID whenever you have to prove who you are.
Oh wait, is this an initiative that is backed by the Democrats?
Well, seeing so it's
Who's?
So I guess there was a bill about going cashless, and there was 3 Republicans that voted against it, but the Democrats actually won overall for New York. And so New York and
Isn't that great?
Massachusetts are basically the ones that are kind of starting. Oh, I think California does it too, but
Of course.
so basically Democrat-run states.
Right.
Which would lead me, and then that's how we get the, like, I don't know if you ever heard the term chronically homeless.
Oh yeah, they use these terms there to refer to people. It's anything but what you think it should be.
Right. So instead of like, what are they? They don't call illegal immigrants aliens or illegal immigrants. They call them something else.
Undocumented.
Right.
Right. It's always
so
something
we have
else.
something that's a positive spin on it, but yet it still means not so great.
Right.
And so with that, you have, I mean, there's just a bunch of things that go with this reverse ATM. I mean, you're trying to make cash worthless. Mm-hmm. And with the Fed Now thing, it also adds to it, because why wouldn't you just put your cash into this ATM? I mean, this just makes more sense. They're going to be taking your money anyways. So why not just do it yourself? You know, and the thing that, like, I find to be a little bit fancy about the whole digital currency is that they can find things unfavorable that you purchase, you know? And you would think, like, porn would be off the list, or maybe some sex trafficking shit, that might be off the list, but really what they're going for is ammunition.
Of course. It's a back registry for ammunition and guns.
Right. So right. So they're not worried about the things that are actually endangering us. They're worried about guns and ammo and how many donations and charities you pay for.
And who? Yeah.
Right. Because some of them are not considered. No, some of them are considered to be terrorist groups. You know, the Catholic Church is considered a terrorist group.
Yes, I know. The FBI says no, but, well, that's... So, does any of this follow itself back? Because you can, you know, it's sort of like the roots, you know, you follow the roots, you get to the tree, get to the trunk of the tree. So, if you follow this back, because we've talked about this before, if you follow the roots back through this, you know, you go to the ATMs, you know, who's sponsoring this nonsense, you know, blah, blah. Does this all go back to Vanguard and BlackRock and,
so,
you know, Klaus Schwab and the rest of them, like, you know, Bank.
I know that it goes back to the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. So obviously I guess it would go back to Vanguard and
exactly.
BlackRock and State Street is the other one. But basically... what is it? The World Economic Forum wants to make sure that people don't have cash, because if you have cash, then it's not traceable.
That's correct.
It's not something that you can look and see, like, so-and-so paid...
They can control your...
Right. So I feel that, I hope that people are going to wise up and just start... Which sucks because you can't stockpile cash. It's not worth as much as...
They can follow all your purchases, particularly the ones that are important. For instance, if whatever your purchases are that you want to keep private from them, they have no business in your purchases anyway. We'll go back to the 16th Amendment and that nonsense there about income tax and all that. But they've got no business in your business about what you purchase and sales tax and all that crap. You know? But really what they're after is control. Again, it's a control. They'll know if what you bought for firearms, if you bought firearms.
Exactly, because they wouldn't have to register it because they already see the purchase and the transaction, and they'll gauge, okay, so he's bought 2 or 1, or it looks like he bought 1 with ammunition. And so these are things that can be tracked and traced. Yeah,
they can put everything together with everything that they're listening to and monitoring with your text messages and your phone calls.
Exactly. And I mean, the thing is, it's like people say things like, cash is dirty, and during the pandemic we realized that it wasn't safe for our staff to have registers filled with cash. You know, when you carry cash, you become a target for criminals, and it's like, that's very true, but why is that? Because it's untraceable. So how would a criminal, I mean, you think a criminal's really going to go to the reverse ATM?
So I think that the people who are really going to support this are the people that are still wearing masks.
Yeah.
You're probably driving a Prius because you think that electricity is magically made out of thin air. Or, you're the like-minded person that drives a damn Subaru. So, these are the people that are out there that want this crap.
Oh, yeah. And
they think anything that's good for them.
Well, because they can't think on their own and decide that this is not a good idea.
They've been brushing their teeth far too long with fluoride, right? This is the result of fluoride, folks.
This is the result of vaccines. Okay, so the next topic, which leads us into another avenue of this whole the government knows best and it will do best for you, is China has been paying $17 million into 34 different states in the United States since 2009.
Isn't that nice?
So here is the kicker about it, is that I actually don't think I have. I have more information on the paperless money. But anyways, we are getting money from China. Well, okay, so I'm sorry, I have to be back up. It's not actually China, it's their institute, different institutes that they have.
It's all the Chinese government.
Of course it is.
Even their businesses are Chinese government.
Right. So, but they say that it's called the Little Red Book funding.
The Little Red Book funding?
Which
the Little Red Schoolhouse?
Maybe that's what it is. It might be a Little Red Schoolhouse.
That sounds awful Marxist.
It's one of the two. It doesn't matter. It's a Little Red something. So
it's got to be red.
Exactly. And so the thing is that these 34 states and school districts that they use are right by military bases. So I'd like to know why they were targeting these specific areas to give funding to diversify the learning for these children. China for diversifying these students.
Well, because that diversity is our strength, right? That's why they want to do it, because they want an enemy. They want a potential enemy as strong as possible. That's why they're doing this.
Right.
They care about our children.
Yes. Just like, I don't know, I know that you don't use TikTok. And actually, the funny thing is, when I was researching this, China pays $17 million. This whole thing about LinkedIn, which is another social media platform, it's mostly used for businesses.
Yes.
But it's a lot of government officials like to put out, oh, I just accomplished whatever.
Right.
I don't really know how it works. And there are different China firms that go through and message them and ask them if they'd like more money for different things in their life, and see if they will give different documents or different discussions to the Chinese government.
They have such an asset, in my opinion, with Hunter Biden and
Biden himself?
And Biden himself. Well, I don't know why they need to bother on the little people. I mean, they're going right to the top.
Right, but I think they're starting to realize the right to the top doesn't really make a difference.
Well, that's interesting stuff. I did not know about either of these things. I did not know about reverse ATMs, and I get it. And I did not know about China putting money into our educational system.
Now, here's the funny thing, is that Trump actually tried to stop this funding and tried to stop these different institutions from paying these school systems. And the school systems objected and said, it's not your place, it's not something that we truly, we don't really take this money. We use it for the arts, or we use it for the playground. Like, we're not using it for what you think it's used for. Now, mind you, it's not just schools as in like small children, it's also universities and institutes. So it's not just like, here it's going to, this school district.
Right.
No, it actually goes in that district, but then also to the different colleges that are around there.
Well, look at the money that China pumped into the universities in Pennsylvania. It happened to be one of the storage areas for Biden's documents that he took when he was vice president and senator. Do you see the connection, folks? Do you see the connection with all this stuff? It's all connected. All the crap that you see going on, you're not just seeing a little, the face of it isn't here. The face is back there, and it's much larger, and it's all connected.
Right. Sorry. Let me go back on the reverse ATM because I messed up. They actually start charging you $4 a month after 92 days of not using it for transactions.
But what if you don't pay it? How do you go about? How do they get all about? So you have to give them detailed information about yourself in order to be charged.
Basically, what it is they won't let you charge an exceeded amount. So you can only charge so much, and they make sure that they have that. Right. And then, of course, I think it's after 90 to 120 days, it's actually of no service. You can't reload them.
This is going to morph into something else. This is the precursor to something else. This right here is just a beta test on how to do this stuff. This right here is a test. It's like the facial recognition test that they were doing and they were fielding during and before COVID, primarily through Walmart. This is a program. I'm sure this is a program where they're working out the kinks.
Oh yeah, it's a complete
in this cashless society kind of nonsense.
Yeah, and Fenway Park is one of the first infiltration that they're starting.
Don't go to Fenway Park. I know that you fat baseball fans out there who sit around on a Sunday and want to eat potato chips, and you don't care where you're buying your potato chips from, even if it's from a company that's owned by George Soros. I know you really don't care because you think everything's fine, but don't go to Fenway Park. There.
Good. Well, basically, it's just, again, I have to, I didn't even know that this was a word. Unbanked and underbanked.
These are new these are new words, just like they make up words.
I mean, unbanked. I didn't know that because I use a bank, I'm banked. Is that even a word?
You're banked. It's new.
Because you can't make that would make it a verb, right? I mean, it's an actual noun. So
you got
to be banked would be now, we've changed the definition of banking.
Oh, they like to change the wording of things too and the meaning of stuff. So if you're banked, it probably means a whole bunch of things. You've got some money into this card thing, and now they know about you or something. It's a new term.
Oh yeah, just like chronically homeless.
Chronically homeless.
I found that one to be fascinating. I mean, why are we trying to sensationalize and make it a pretty word? You're homeless. You shouldn't strive to be homeless. You should. I mean, these homeless people are getting so many different benefits. It's insane. I saw a meme that was like, someone like an immigrant can get, I think it was like $2,125, where Social Security only pays out $1,500 or $1,400. So a person that has paid into Social Security
isn't going to get the benefit that they were getting. Yeah.
But yet this person who illegally came to this country gets at least $600 more for just stepping foot over the border.
So if you're on welfare, again, this ties into all kinds of stuff. People talk about this great replacement theory and all this, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. But, you know, there's incentives for certain areas, certain groups of people to have children or not have children, to do things. They're de-incentivizing work. And they're incentivizing illegal immigration and the whole crowd that goes along with that.
Well, so that actually is going to lead us into your discussion. So basically, okay, so we have a lot of illegal immigrants coming in.
Oh, over 6 million in the last year. And there's probably about 24 million in this country right now.
Right.
Maybe more.
And we also have, they're called asylum seekers, right?
They're all asylum seekers.
Well, I guess I didn't realize that. I thought you had to actually go through a channel to actually get them.
Oh, now they're all asylum seekers. Okay. Every one of them here for an asylum
So then,
issue.
If that's the case, then we should allow the South African farmers to seek asylum into our country.
All right. Is that my segue?
That is your segue.
All right. So does anybody out there know what's going on in South Africa? You may or may not know. You probably don't know. But in South Africa, and this has been going on for a while now, is the Boers, who are the descendants of people from Netherlands, Germany, France. These are the descendants of these people that went there a couple hundred years ago, and many of them are farmers. And they're being persecuted. And they're being persecuted right now by a former... under, I forget his name already. But anyway, there's a current opposition leader down there. His name is Julius Malema. He's a radical, violent man. He's black, and the population there is about 82% black, and whites make up about 7%. And the majority of the farmers there are white, the descendants of the Boers. And they're being persecuted because they are landowners. And they think that that land was being taken over by the whites. So
wait, let me get this right. So the black people, like just regular black people of that country, are now going after the farmers who have been there.
Well, there's a lot of them that are. And they support Julius Malema. And in fact, recently, and you probably didn't hear about this, and he said this in numerous interviews in the past, and I've seen him, look him up, where he said that there will be a time, and that he did support the killing of whites. And he reiterated this recently in Johannesburg, where he had a rally where there was over 100,000 blacks in attendance. And you can look this one up too, where he is leading a chant saying, "Kill the whites, kill the Boers."
Okay, so let me ask you this. Are these white people allowed to seek asylum in other countries?
Oh, they're allowed to seek it, but let me give you some numbers here. This is kind of interesting here. That's a good thing to bring up, because the countries that we are now basically opening our doors to, which is people from African nations, Zimbabwe, Rhodesia, Uganda, Central American countries, and I'll say this because it's a fact, and this is not racist. The primary immigration into this country right now is non-white,
right?
And that's not racist; it's a fact. So, but here's the thing. What about people seeking asylum here, and particularly South Africa? And so, from South Africa right now, Canada rejected over 1,000 applications. And those people that were applying to Canada were being accused of being white supremacists. That's why they were rejected. Look this up. I don't want to quote the sources. There's a reason why I don't want to quote the sources. This isn't anything to do with racism. This is a fact. The Netherlands, Belgium, UK, US, France rejected thousands, literally thousands of applications of asylum seekers from South Africa, white South Africans. over 570 white South Africans were denied or rejected their asylum request to Australia, including, and this is an interesting one to look up, there was a elderly white couple who were farmers who wanted to leave and go to Australia, and they were victims of having boiling water poured down their throats. They were nearly killed. And this is just a small snapshot of what's going on there. But Julius Malema...
So basically, they are trying to seek asylum because there's legitimate reason, and because they're
Absolutely.
white, they're not being allowed.
Well, you've got to ask yourself, is it because they're white? Now, I can't say that for certain, but that damn well seems to be the case. I mean, linear thinking, logically thinking, that if we're accepting anybody that crosses our southern border, in fact, now they've got an app where you can just cross.
Yeah, and you're supposed to come back.
And we have over 6 million of them since the current administration took office, and there's an estimated 24+ million illegal immigrants in this country right now, primarily coming across our southern border, primarily people who are non-white. You've got to ask yourself that question, that very question you just asked. Are we not allowing whites to immigrate here? That is a good question. I can't answer that, but that would be the logical answer. And many would support that. And it has nothing to do with racism. These are just pure facts.
Right. Well, I mean, the fact is, technically that does have to do with racism, but it's the opposite of what we're talking about every single day and every time you hear.
But the facts have nothing to do with racism necessarily. They're just purely the facts. People could say that just talking about them and the fact that you're talking about them from the perspective of being white is racist, but it's not. I don't think it's racist.
Well, I don't think it's racist to bring awareness to something that is an issue in other countries. I mean, people are watching our country go bananas and laughing at us.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're not being told about, the France attacks or the protests or whatever, and now we're not being told about a what do they call? It's like, are they a government official? I mean, who is this person that's saying this? Is he Julius
Malema? He's the opposition party leader down there.
So he's a party leader, and he's actually actively telling people that they should kill the whites.
Go and look at the video. There's a stadium there that held over 100,000. There was over 100,000 in attendance. And I'm sure that that's just a fraction of the people who support this. But yes, he was leading a chant, and that's what they said. Kill the whites. Kill the white Boers.
So... And we're supposed to be
and that's not even a media story here.
No, I don't even know.
I found an article that was done by Fox News that was not on their program, but that was a article from them. I tried finding it on the major networks. Of course, you're not going to find it there. I didn't find anything on CNN, of course. I'm not saying that it didn't exist. I couldn't find it, and I just stumbled actually across the Fox News article, which didn't air. It was just an article. And the UN isn't even denouncing this. You don't hear anything from the UN. I looked at the UN. The UN isn't even denouncing this. And so you got to ask yourself, it seems like there's an agenda going on here.
Worldwide at this point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look what happened in France just recently with the riots there. That again, there's a media blackout on that, and that was requested and honored by Elon Musk, of all people. In fact, Elon Musk, a South African, has been asked to denounce this, and he did say it was genocide, which is true. But again, there's no media coverage of it. He hasn't come out prominently and spoken of this, and he's a South African himself. So you've got to ask yourself what the hell is going on, and I think many of you know it, and we can't really talk in these terms here because this information that you just heard, if we talked about it in any other terms, you will not hear about it. In fact, there'll be a warning. You wait and see. If you view our video, there's going to be a warning on there. There's going to be something on there that YouTube is going to put on there, even if they accept this, their algorithms accept this show. So I wanted to bring that up, and people out there should research this. And I can't say too much about it because this would not make the air. It just wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say, and it is tied to everything else. These roots go right to the stump, and it's much bigger than you think.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think that we should definitely do more research and look into it further and see if we can't put up different articles to make sure that it is known, because I feel like this is something that needs to be discussed. We're always talking about, the Americans, and we're also talking about it being a potluck, and we're supposed to just melting pot. That's the word.
Yeah, melting pot. Yeah.
And yet we're not allowing these people who are actively being attacked. I mean, I don't really know what happened in Zimbabwe or in Somalia or whatever, that these people are seeking asylum, and this is actively a problem with white. I guess Dutch, Netherlands.
Yeah.
I mean, these people aren't necessarily white Americans. They're from.
These are farmers.
Right.
These are the people that are giving up their farms, that want to leave because of the dangers over there.
Right, and most of them have family farms.
Yes.
And this is something that this is how they make their money. Because just so you know, the rand, which is their dollar currency or their currency.
And how do you know that?
How do I know what?
Well, just so everybody out there knows, her husband just came back from South Africa. He was there for, 3 months? A little over 3 months?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but he was in a secure place.
Yeah, you can go to different secure locations, and they have security, and they also have, there's a wall usually around where you stay, and a boundary, they create.
Walls work.
But the rand, which is their currency, is actually, so the last time I looked at it, is 17 or 18 to $1.
Right, their economy is in the toilet.
US dollar is worth 17 rand or 17 of their currency.
Yeah.
So they absolutely love when America comes over. But the thing is, it's like, these people are doing this and don't care the repercussions. They don't.
No.
And these other families, this also tells you that $17 or 17 rand to 1, meaning that they don't even have enough money to live here. So if they came over, they wouldn't have that much money to live.
Oh yeah, it's not like they're bringing a lot. They just want to get the hell out of there.
Right. So it's not like, it's basically the same thing as us letting other people from different countries come to our.
And they're coming here with skills too. These people had farms or have farms. These are not lazy people that want to just come here and get on the dole. They're coming here to work. They want a new life. They want to get away from it because it's dangerous. It's damn dangerous there. And many of these farmers have already been murdered. Many of them have been burned out. And most of them walk around every day. They go to work. I watched a video where a man and a woman, they go to their fields every day. They tend to their fields and so forth. They have a few people working for them. And they're all armed. They're all armed.
Why wouldn't they?
Exactly. And this is how they go to work. They live in fear constantly, and they would like to come here. But
they're white supremacists.
Well, at least in Canada. Canada came right out and said that they were these people were white supremacists and denied them their applications for asylum in Canada.
It's not even that many. 1,000 people? That's not even that many people. I mean, we're letting in millions, and they can't even let 1,000 or a couple thousand people just into the country. I mean, I don't see how this isn't.
There's about I think there's.
I mean, South Africa's a
49 million people or so in South Africa, with the majority of them being black, and about, I think it was 84% are black, and fewer than 8%, something like 7-point-something% are white, and a smaller. But the whites are in the minority over there, and they're being persecuted left and right. And I won't even talk about the Christians over there and what's going on with the Christians there, because that's tied in, and it's another subject. But the Christians over there are being persecuted as well. And that's another thing you should look into. And there's just so many of these things going on. It's not just an everyday humdrum thing that we talk about here, essentially. We try to find these things that are a little bit different, that tie in. But these things are of a global concern. Anyway, I could go on and on. We're short on time.
All right, so that is our show for today. You got anything else to say?
I don't even have a quote here, except that I would rather live this is Thomas Jefferson again, and I'll say it many times, I'd rather live a dangerous freedom than a peaceful slavery. And I think that's fitting here. I'm tired of it all. I'm just really tired of it all. So anyway, hit the like button and send us some comments. We want to hear your comments. We want to hear about things that you want to hear. We want to talk about things you want to hear about.